Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our PCT 2025 journey. This is going to be a little vlog series documenting our summer. For those of you who are just joining us and who have never seen any of my content before, this is just going to be a quick little introduction here. My name's Josh. I'm a ski bum. I have been for a very long time. I've spent the last few seasons especially chasing out that winter dream, chasing Stoke, and making these daily kind of stoked out weather report videos I call Stoke Reports. I've been living in my self-converted ambulance for quite a while with my little adventure dog, Dottie. But about a year ago, I met my girlfriend, Laura, and she told me about her dream to hike the Pacific Crest Trail, and that is what we're doing right now.
Hi guys, my name's Laura, and I've been wanting to do this hike ever since I was in about high school. I was originally planning to do the PCT back in 2020, which is when I graduated from college, but as we all know, the world was weird around that time, so I decided just to wait and see if there was a better time to do it. And now that time has finally come. I quit my corporate job, dragged Josh out here with me, and am hiking the PCT.
Yeah, so when I first met Laura, she started talking about this PCT journey, and the more she talked about it, the more I realized I wanted to support her in doing this however I could, be that hiking with her, running support, or however else it made sense. So for this journey, I'm going to be only doing section hikes. I'm down here right now hiking the first 250 to 300 miles with her. It's going to be about 3 weeks. At the end of that 3 weeks, I'm going to be flying back up to Bend for my favorite springtime event up on Mount Bachelor, Rendezvous.
And while Josh is at Rendezvous, I'm still going to be continuing to hike north. Once he's done with Rendezvous and is finished up with that event, he's actually going to come back, bring the ambulance, bring Dottie, and support me as I continue to hike.
And once I come back down here and I'm running support for her, a huge part of what I want to do this summer is kind of document her journey and document my van life adventures. So this is going to be a little vlog series, should be coming out about once a week. That's kind of the goal. It's going to be a little bit delayed from where we're actually out on trail, so I have time to edit everything. But this is going to be our summer adventure while she's hiking. I'm living in my van with my pup, and we're just having a good time out here. Hope you enjoy. Our journey began in earnest months before this video was even a thought. Starting as an inkling of an idea, followed by months of research, planning, preparation, replanning, packing, unpacking, you get the idea. But for simplicity, let's start here, at Cleef. Cleef feels a bit like a summer camp, the difference being it's a camp where hikers pass through, usually only staying for a night or two before heading out the next morning, and a new set of campers arrives. We showed up here 2 days before our start date and got to enjoy the company of other hikers and the 3 amazing people that run this place, Papa Bear, One Speed, and Just Paul. They host this camp as an introduction to the PCT. While it's not a requirement to stay here, I'd highly recommend anyone planning this hike to do so. They give a nightly safety talk reminding everyone of the risks of heat stroke, hypothermia, altitude sickness, and more, the real dangers that do exist on the PCT. They're often joined by Marmalade, an REI employee who helps new hikers with fitting their packs. They talk about how much water to carry, how to approach water crossings, and so much more. For experienced hikers, it's an amazing reminder and refresher, and for newer hikers, it's a great informational session. In your time at Cleef, you can borrow a bike to ride into Campo for lunch, or spend your time chatting with other hikers about gear, advice, sign the PCT banner, logbook, and just get ready for your SumDay. As Just Paul puts it, many people dream of starting an adventure like this. Someday. Someday I'll hike this hike. Someday I'll go on that trip, or start that business, or whatever the dream is. But for those setting out on the PCT this year, their someday starts here. The sum of all their planning, preparation, and organizing. Quitting jobs, leaving pets with family or friends, packing into a storage unit, this is the sum of all of it. And for Laura and myself, this is the start of our someday. We woke up the morning of March 24th and enjoyed some of Papa Bear's pancakes. There was a slight aura of excitement, nerves, and the looming knowledge of the desert heat ahead. But we were ready. We packed our gear, filled our water, and hiked the half-mile from Cleef to the Mexico border to officially start our PCT trek. Here I filmed a Josh report and happened to catch the eye of an Associated Press journalist who naturally wanted to interview me for a story they were doing on national park shortages and how it might affect the trail. I obliged and definitely spent longer than I probably should have chatting with him. Then we were off. Day 1, we hiked about 11.4 miles through the desert, stopping on the way at the 1 mile sign, the sign to Canada, and all the cool fun places to see. We were both feeling good and our packs heavy with food. While we had Laura's aunt and uncle running support for us these first few weeks, we didn't really fully think through when and where we might want resupplies. So we packed heavy with about a week's worth of dinners, breakfasts, and snacks, quickly learning that it was more than we needed, especially once we stopped for our first water fill-up at about mile 4 after leaving Cleef. One of the first water carries is a big one, with the next source being 10 miles or so away at Hauser Creek, and the knowledge that we were dry camping in between that night. As we made our way, our spirits were high, especially when we found an amazing camping area with a crew of other hikers to enjoy the night with. We watched a beautiful sunset, ate a delicious meal, and enjoyed cowboy camping under the stars.
Day 2, we got up bright and early and got on trail, putting in almost 5 miles before the sun even came up. We took a break at Hauser Creek to refill on water and enjoy a snack-style breakfast before continuing the next 5 or so miles to Lake Morena. When we arrived in town, our feet were sore and bellies hungry, so we headed straight to the PCT famous malt shop to fill up on burgers and milkshakes before taking a midday siesta at the Lake Morena campground, where we were able to take a quick shower, refill water, nap, and just enjoy chatting with other hikers and getting to know our fellow trailmates. As the afternoon started to cool down, we packed our bags again and took off to put down some more miles, making it a 14-ish mile day, finally setting down at Boulder Oaks campground, where Josh found a beer, left his trail magic, and we set up camp in the dark before wolfing down some dinner and heading to bed.
The next morning, we decided to take a slower start to the day, taking the time to make some breakfast and coffee and relax a little before starting our hike. Temperatures weren't forecasted to get as hot, so we didn't feel the need to beat the sunrise quite as much. After taking a moment to get things packed, we once again set off. Around midday, we stopped for water at this cool little spot where we had to climb down to a beautiful desert oasis. This area felt eerily similar to Eastern Oregon and was a nice relaxing place to enjoy a midday pause. We eventually hiked back up to our packs and continued on our way, only stopping again briefly when offered some roadside trail magic in the form of snacks. With today being a shorter planned hike of only around 12 miles, we wanted to make it to camp early, knowing it was near water, so we could relax, set up camp, and soak our sore feet in the cool creek water. What a treat!
On day 4, we once again got up before the sunrise, knowing it was only a 5-mile hike from camp to Mount Laguna, and knowing there was a warm breakfast at a cozy lodge in our future. We pushed a quick 5 miles, and as we gained elevation, we found ourselves hiking through a pine forest that reminded us of home. When we made it to the diner, it was a nice pause, where we both ate our breakfast with joy. We spent a good while slowly making our way up through Mount Laguna, stopping at the store, and eventually finding a camp area where we took a midday rest to eat and do some dirtbag laundry. After a nice midday break, we headed on, getting back on trail at Storm Canyon, a very appropriate name to the start of the next leg of our hike. We hiked for the next 7 miles or so, crossing the 50-mile mark through brutal wind. Following mountain passes and exposed brushland, we finally made it to where we decided to camp after doing a 17.5-mile day. We sheltered in and set up our tents before making a quick dinner and retreating to eat separately in our own shelters.
We woke up on day 5 to find it had sprinkled rain off and on through the night, and the relentless wind had yet to let up. Aided by a beautiful sunrise through the storm, we woke up early and started putting miles down, stopping briefly off trail to see if there was any shelter on a noted water stop. There was not. We pushed on and eventually started making our way out of the rain and into the sun, and while the winds continued up high, we found ourselves in better shelter at lower elevations. We found a couple little stopping points for water and eventually decided on one to stay at for what has become our now traditional midday break, enjoying the company of other hikers, some stretching, and a snack. After this pause, we made our way another handful of miles until we found one of our best campsites yet, a 3-tiered area just off trail, sheltered nicely from the wind. We set up camp and enjoyed dinner and a sunset together.
We allowed ourselves a lazier morning on day 6, knowing it was just around the corner to get to Scissor Junction, where we would then try to get a hitch into Julian, taking a short day to be followed by our first zero of the trip. When we got to the junction, we found some trail angels under the bridge and timed it perfectly as an angel named Minnie stopped to offer rides into town. We happily accepted and took the hitch in for a proper town stop. Julian is a beautiful little town that reminded us of Sisters, Oregon if it was transplanted into a desert western setting. It was also extremely welcoming, with Mom's Cafe offering free slices of pie to passing PCT hikers. So we went there straight away and it was so good. After some pie, we wandered through town and decided a full lunch was in order, popping into the Miners Diner for food before heading in to check into our hotel for the night. We took a shower and crashed for a bit before heading back out to explore the town a little more, and eventually made our way to the local brewery for pizza and a pipe.
The next morning, we woke up and took a stroll to a nearby coffee shop where we treated ourselves to some breakfast crepes, then headed back to the hotel to pack up and get ready for Laura's aunt and uncle to arrive to give us a ride to the Stagecoach RV park. When we got there, we got a quick resupply, then hunkered down out of the wind in the laundry room and spent the evening exploring the park, hiding from the wind, and getting ready for our next day on trail. That's it for this episode. We'll pick up next week where we left off on a windy morning as we prepared to trek into the stormy mountains on our way north towards Idlewild.
Thank you so much for watching. Please drop a like, comment, or follow if you want to support us and see where this adventure takes us.
And as always, my friends, do not forget to enjoy every day, y'all. Peace.